In the organization as, or art as a tool approach, you argue that, well, art isn't scary, or it does not need to be scary as long as it sits on the lap of managers. With artistic interventions, you actually say, well, there is a difference between those two worlds, and you want to make that difference productive. So you don't want them to grow together, but you want to remain or leave it intact, the conflict that is there. So, to sum up, with artistic interventions, you argue that art is fundamentally different from management, and that's a good thing. And value is delivered by artists who should never become part of the organization, so the distance must be kept. So you don't want to hire artists, you don't want them to become your employees. They are that sort of deviating force, that deviating sound that question what you're doing, that challenge what you're doing, and it's in that challenging that value is created. Last up is management as art. And this is, I guess, perhaps the most radical perspectives of all three. So when you explore this perspective, you basically ask yourself the question, what if we do not accept that management and art are fundamentally different phenomena? And what if we try to define management as art? And maybe on a bit more on an academic level, what if we want to rethink management using the discourse, using the language of art, and arrive at a so-called maybe artistically informed understanding of management? And well, that may sound like a sort of a bizarre way of thinking, but that's actually not the case. Because when you look closely, our ideas of management are always modeled after something else. So where do we get inspiration from when we conceive of management? So this is a very dominant image. So an image that still determines to a large extent our ideas of management. So we like to think of organizations as armies. And when you think of organizations as armies, the manager needs to fit in there. So if an organization is an army, then probably your manager is a military officer, high-ranking military officer. And that has a lot, that largely influences to a great degree our idea, our expectations of the manager. So when you think of the manager as a military officer, you suggest that this manager needs to be able to engage in strategic thinking. He or she needs to be able to develop standard operating procedures, give instructions, find allies, divide and rule. So